I naively thought I would never see this in the United States. When I was preparing to prosecute the Nazis, I used to say to myself, oh, this would never happen in the United States. When I went through Yad Vashem, I was broken at the end of it. And I said, oh, this could never happen in the United States. I saw it happen. It's happening. And all he said was, go peacefully and patriotically. Then how much more responsible are AOC, Tlaib, Presley, Omar, for the 2.5 years of vile anti-Semitic attack on Israel, for advocating the destruction of the state of Israel through divestment, by calling Israel an apartheid state, by saying that the Israelis are war criminals and Netanyahu is a war criminal. Those words, those excessive, inaccurate, false words don't inspire violence, and the words go peacefully and patriotically do? Or are they a hopeless group of liars and hypocrites? No, it's the latter. In fact, it goes further than that. Not only don't the Democrats stand up against these vile anti-Semites, not only does Chuck Schumer hide when it happens, and Nadler, and all the rest of them, they don't say a word when their people are attacked by members of Congress because they're holding on to power and their greed for money is a lot stronger than their love of the Jewish people, certainly than the love of America. They don't say a word. I'd be darned if they did that to Italian Americans. And if I could get put in jail, or I was going to get shot, or I was going to get deprived of anything, I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. But I wouldn't just do it for Italians, do it for anybody. In my world, there are no Italians, there are no Jews, there are no blacks, there are no this. They're human beings. Anti-Semitism is something special because the sick people make it that way. I don't make it that way. I naively thought I would never see this in the United States. When I was preparing to prosecute the Nazis, I used to say to myself, oh, this would never happen in the United States. When I went through Yad Vashem, I was broken at the end of it. And I said, oh, this could never happen in the United States. I saw it happen. It's happening. And if you ignore it, it's going to really happen some more. All of this, the attacks on Israel, the attacks on Los Angeles, New York, Florida, London, Berlin, these are attacks meant to test us, and it's a proxy war for Iran. Iran is poking us. Where are we weak? Where are we weak? Tell you where we're weak. We're weak in the United States because we don't stand up for each other. We're weak in the United States because the president of the United States will tolerate this. So now they're going to plan another group of anti-Semitic attacks in America. They say to themselves, what will Biden do to us? He'll put out a tweet that doesn't even mention us. He'll put out a tweet. Biden is going to deter the next terrorist anti-Semitic attack with a tweet. This is the guy that a week ago heaped praise on Rashida Tlaib instead of admonishing her as the leader of the party and the leader of the country. Cut out the anti-Semitic stuff, or you're not going to be in my political party. We're not going to let you spew hatred for Americans, and certainly not based on their religion. No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. You know what he did? He went to the Ford Center and he said, I respect Rashida Tlaib. She's very intelligent. Have you listened to her? She's very courageous. And she's very effective. And she has a great concern for people. Footnote, not the Jewish people. Footnote, not the American people. She working for somebody else. You can't figure that out. You might have a hard time making it in New York. I didn't live through World War II, but I grew up almost as if I did. I learned of it constantly in my home with my mother and my father and my uncles who fought in the war. In school, we then taught history without making it a diatribe against the United States. I learned about it from my friends who all had the similar interests, and we used to play war games, and that sort of gets you into it. Movies, every movie that wasn't a cowboy and Indian movie was cowboy and, they were called cowboy and Indian movies. I think now you would say cowboy and Native American movies, and you probably wouldn't make them. We grew up on movies about the Second World War, probably more of them focused on Germany than Japan, although the Marine movies we used to really love. But we grew up, my generation grew up, indoctrinated correctly. I don't think we were taught propaganda about the second. I think it's pretty clear who the good guys and the bad guys in the Second World War were. We didn't have any concentration camps. It became ingrained in my soul and person when I spent part of the mid-1980s studying the records of 2 concentration camps placed outside of Germany in Eastern Europe, where many of them were placed, because the 2 concentration camp leaders had been caught after many years of hiding, and they had to be deported. One was a relatively straightforward case. The other was extraordinarily complicated because of internal politics. But that's neither here nor there. We can discuss that some other time. But it did require me to read the record in detail, and in fact, reproduce the record in one case because we had to reprove the case. When you read these records, when you read a commander writing back to the SS in Berlin, I know you'll be very pleased. We were able to accomplish in just a few hours getting rid of about 3,000 Jews. And then he'd have various categories of Orthodox that he killed also. His lawyer, I don't know if he did this I think he almost tried it as a defense. His lawyer was considering defending he didn't kill that many Jews. He exaggerated because he wanted a promotion in the SS. I said, how about you put that in? That'd be great. I don't know, how many do we need? I think we're charging him with 12 million. We're charging him with 12,000. So I don't know. I think you go for instead of going for 12,000 years, he'll go for 6,000 years. Or instead of getting executed, he'll get executed. Sick minds. Sick minds, a sick time. And the reason I am so upset, and the reason I can see the future if we don't stop it, is those scenes are on my mind. And I know what happened when it was ignored. And I know even great men like Churchill weren't capable of getting us to concentrate on what was happening to the Jewish people. We got to have a Churchill come along. To say that anybody in the Biden administration is a Churchill would be a desecration to Winston Churchill. They're unrealistic, silly, this is the best you can say about them, liberals. And I told you liberals can't govern. They're too unrealistic. And about this kind of stuff, where we're dealing with cold-blooded killers, they make mistakes that endanger our lives. And there's something seriously wrong with Biden. Seriously wrong. You do not embrace, in a moment like this, Rashida Tlaib and say she's concerned about people. There's something wrong with the man. Will somebody pay attention to that before somebody really takes advantage of us? And they're thinking about it. You know that.